Welcome to Digital Artist Residency. I'm going to talk you through a few ways to build your page into an interesting, interactive site that shows off your practice. So firstly, you'll be emailed your URL, which is the only page you can log into. Don't try and log in through the home page, but your URL is the page which you can log in, and you can do so by clicking down here. You'll have a similar logo, your editor logo. Once you click on that, you should be directed to the It's Easy login page. So here, put in your username and password and click login, and you should see something like this. So this is the standard blank Digital Artist Residency site builder page. So you'll see there's another number of options. We'll start to go through some of those in a minute. Firstly, in the FAQ, which is down here, if you click on this, you should be able to open up some editing help. So if you're stuck on anything, please do look at the FAQ. There's some basics here about using the toolbar, using the context menus. I'll go over that in a bit more detail. Some keyboard shortcuts which are very useful. And then once you get over here into the components, you can start to see how you start to break up the site into grids, how to use the structure, how you can put in iframes and multimedia. But I'm going to go through some of those quickly to build a site. So one of the new features on Digital Artist Residency is this banner, which essentially features as a background image, which you can overlay with content over the top. So if you click on this, you'll see this blank space opens up with the setting sort of icon. If you click on that, you get a space to put an image. So up here is some further menus. You can edit text, links, lightbox, which means you can make the image go full screen once it's clicked on, and it starts to work a bit like a slideshow. You can edit the aspect ratio. But to actually input the image, you go over here, choose image on this mountain icon. So once we're in here, we invite you to create your own folder of images so that you can keep all your images in one place. I'm going to go and pick an image that's going to be my background. So here we go, I'm going to pick this. So you may notice this is a GIF, and GIF animations work on this, so you can use a GIF animation as your background. You can also link that to a URL or to another site, another page on the site. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use that as my background image. Once you scroll down, you'll start to see the banner options. So the banner options essentially are what you're going to overlay on top of this background image. Now, an important thing to point out is that you can break up the page by adding structure. So this is the thing I tell most people to start off with, is start to put in some structure, so you're not just doing one image after another or one piece of text after another, like a blog style. You can start to structure it and have things alongside each other. So I'm going to add some columns. On top of the columns, if you click where it says columns, it'll bring up this. So this is where you can edit the sort of ratio of the columns. You can add different columns. You can add as many as you like. Obviously, each time you multiply it, the space gets smaller. So I'm going to get rid of some of those. I'm going to have 4 columns and start to weight them over to that side a bit. Okay, there we go. And then you can start putting things in there. So maybe I want, firstly, a YouTube clip on there. So I clicked the multimedia file on this. And then there's various different multimedia options for this. So you can put in a URL for YouTube, including live stream videos, Vimeo, Dailymotion, SchoolTube, Screencast, SlideShare, SoundCloud, and Spotify. So you can embed audio, slides, and video. So let's have a look at an example that I've made, and I'll talk you through exactly how I made it. So if you go to digitalartrecipe.org/AA example, you'll see something like this. So as you can see here, I've embedded various different things. I've got YouTube video, which plays automatically. I've got some GIF images that are animated, and they're side by side each other. The good thing about GIFs as well is not only do they play just as images and are moving, but the backgrounds can be erased so that you still see the background image behind. You notice the GIF behind that is playing. So this cube is spinning and you can still see the background, and you can see the background within here as well. There are other more interactive elements. So for example, I've got a 3D model embedded in here and I can move that around. That's using the site Modelo. You can upload 3D models into that. I've got some sound through SoundCloud, so I can have audio playing through here as well. So you can have that playing whilst people are scrolling. We'll stop that. You can have interactive maps, so you can start to look and putting sort of map elements to your practice as well. And again, all these are sort of structured, and I've started to change the structure so it doesn't look like a grid or it's just one image or bit of information after another, like a blog. So I'll just go over how I've actually created this. So to do that, I'll go down again to here, log in, and you notice this time the banner is clicked on and I have that GIF image as the background, and I started to add some banner options. So to bulk it out so that these options don't start right at the top, I've just put in a text window there, and that is a text where I've just put in some spaces and returns, and then after that I've created some columns. So as I was telling you, you create columns, start to break up the grid. You can start to make them different sizes, and within those I've started to add different elements. So as I said, for this one I added multimedia. You click on that and you can put in the URL for your multimedia file. If you right click, you have a number of options. So now I've created that, I don't want that. I can click this minus button, it'll delete it. If I want to add something above this, so if you at any point you want to add something above or below an item, I can click that and it'll add a bit of text below it. I don't want that. However, if I wanted to add it below, I can put text and it will go below the one I just clicked on. Again, I don't want that, I'm going to click minus. With these are just simple images. So again, if you go plus, add image, click on that space, you can add essentially any of these images or GIFs into there. So I was using some examples there. I don't want to do that this time. I'm happy with my site the way it is, but that's an example. Again, if I wanted to add something below this, I'll go below, and I wanted to add text. That's how I added text below some of these. For example, with the 3D model, I created a 3D model, put it up onto Modelo, and then in the structure, if you go down, I clicked on iframe. So within this, I put in the URL for that particular model, and once you start to upload that, you can adjust how many pixels high it was. I believe that one was 450, and you've got a number of options there. It lets you scroll, or it lets you allow forms or full screen if you want. Again, I don't want that, so I'm going to get rid of that. With SoundCloud, again, click on multimedia. You can add a number of different URLs into multimedia. With the map, simply right click, go below, and within the contact there's various different forms, comments sections, a custom made form you want interactive people to fill in, or you can add an interactive map. and on this you can actually search for places, set a dedicated, already pre-positioned place, and you can start to edit the actual settings for that map as well. However, if you don't want to use the banner to create a background image with content overlaid, you can simply click or unclick the banner. It should say off, which gives you another number of other options. Notably, with the sections part, you can add full width content area, and within these you can start to add images, text, multimedia that take up the full width of the page as opposed to the content you overlay on the banner. So if, for instance, you want to have, and this is another feature, fading images. Fading images is images which work like a slideshow. Images will fade from one to the other after about 5 seconds, and they'll do that automatically. So if you wanted to create images, I'm going to select a load of standard DAR images. You simply sequentially add fader panels, add images to them, save that, and they will make them full width of whatever website, whatever browser you're using, and they will fade from one to the other quite satisfyingly. So there's another number of options that you can do. I hope that's explained slightly some of the content that's available to you when using Digital Artist Residency. Of course, if there's anything you want to know, please do get in contact with Tom at info@digitalartistresidency.org, and we can help you start to structure your website in the way that you want.